Sorry, guys. Good point. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm always muting my microphone before I start the stream because it's clicking and clacking here. And hey, Steve, how are you? I'm a little late today because I forgot to install my camera. And I had to do it last minute. So today we are doing Glasgow Crit times 10. And I doubt there are going to be huge GC moves. There might be, but I don't think it's very likely. There is going to be absolute mayhem because there's going to be 5 groups of people doing 10 laps on a single short course. And I'm 3 minutes down in general classification. I'm currently on 12th place in my group. So very close to the top 10, but not there just yet. Hopefully my bottom bracket won't click and clack again. That was very annoying 2 days ago. But it was fairly nice to have the 1 day break. I would really appreciate if today wasn't like crazy race because tomorrow I need to race over lunch. So I will have something like 15 hours of rest. Which is not much considering how difficult this series is. Yeah, streamer life, it's always something, exactly. And I've got even wireless keyboards together with trackpad, and that was like skipping today as well, so there's another problem. And the bike might be another problem. It's always a problem, some sort of problem. I cleaned the bottom bracket. I've got fairly freshly lubricated chain, so hopefully that's not going to be an issue. I tried to tighten the pedals, but they were pretty tight already. So let's do our warm-up. Jeroen, I don't have a clue. I don't know. It's like 2 silver rings on each side with cutouts. I don't know. I'm a little afraid about the pace in this race because both Clyde Kicker and the finish are sprint segments, classified as sprint segments, which means that people are going to be crazy in those spots, which means Us GC riders will need to be crazy as well to not get accidentally dropped. I know, only the best sprint counts, but what that means is definitely people are going to go all in, at least on the first one and the last one. But I think many people will go in between those as well to potentially improve. Ah, you didn't miss anything. Anything important. I feel fairly okay, I would say. I think I will be able to tell more at the end of this warm-up. That's usually a pretty good benchmark. Lucas, that's what I'm afraid of. Because everyone will be expecting sprints there. And especially if there is a mix of different pens, people can slip away very quickly. Hey, Herben, thank you very much. I don't think there is a expiration date at the moment for the 10% discount. And as of now, I don't know anything about Black Friday. I will let you know the second I know, or more specifically, the second I am able to tell, if I am able to tell something. But currently, I don't know anything about the discount ending in UK or US. Oh, welcome to the Wolfpack, Herben. It does help, Wes. Thank you very much if you do. I will appreciate it. I'll probably need to get my own ride eventually, if the bottom bracket problems continue. Probably not, Lucas, because I need to gain 3 minutes somewhere eventually. But I don't think today is the day to try, because it's almost flat. And I'm racing tomorrow over lunch again. So very soon. So I don't think it would be smart in the context of GC to go super deep. Obviously, if someone goes like crazy, I will try to cover, because I don't want to get more gap. But hey, thank you. So it's getting a little hard. Crunchy. My handlebars is wrecked right now. I don't know them from memory, but I think there is one guy that has 3 minute better gap, e-gap. So either I can gain 3 minutes in my race, or he needs to lose 3 minutes in his. Which can happen on time trial. It's a pretty hilly time trial on Friday. And also that can be another promotion possible. I don't want to count on that, but I think patience is the correct strategy for the time being. No. When you win, you do not gain time. Others lose it. So basically, after the time trial, my e-gap didn't change, or it didn't change compared to my group. But the guys behind me obviously have higher gap. I think the second guy was 15 seconds later. It's a super weird system, but it actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it, but it was a big brain exercise trying to understand it. I'll tell you when I finish the warm-up. Yeah, Lucas, that's what I said. I didn't gain gap compared to others in my group. So the way it works is no matter what group you are racing in, I mean, no matter what time slot you are racing in, if you win the race, your e-gap is 0. And all other riders get e-gap equaling to their time difference to the winner. And that e-gap adds up among the races, among the stages. So if your e-gap is 1 minute in first race, 1 minute in second race, 1 minute in third race, your e-gap is 3 minutes. And after each stage, all riders in the same category are ranked from the lowest e-gap to the highest one. So when we were doing the time trial, my e-gap got increased compared to the winner. But in my own category, I was a winner, so everyone behind me lost time compared to me. And since I have an e-gap of about 3 minutes currently, I've got actually a really good cumulative time. If the GC was according to cumulative time, I would be one of the top 6, I think. But my e-gap is 3 minutes, which means that I need to get 3 minutes compared to the top rider in order to win currently. Or they need to lose 3 minutes compared to me. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's a confusing system, but it makes sense because you cannot game it then. You cannot enter, you know, the most populated pen in the hopes that it will carry you to better time, because you are still compared to the winner. And I've just learned that after the last stage. And which means that it was stupid to let some of the guys go in the stages 1 and 2, because obviously that increased my e-gap. Not that I would have power to chase, probably, but I would probably approach those races a little differently. See you, Steven. Have a good race and good luck with your sprints. Crush them. Yes, you gain e-gap to the winner of your time slot. But that e-gap is compared to that of all others across the time slots. So if you took an absurd approach and would be consistently able to find time slots where you would be the only rider, which is not possible, but for the demonstration purposes, it would be the best time slot to race, because you would be always a winner as a solo rider, and you would consistently have 0 e-gap. Even if you rode super easy. Yeah, it is very hard to game. Very hard to game. You need to basically race, really, pretty much. You know, the way I thought it would be, obviously, it would be like GC times, cumulative time for all stages, and I thought the best approach for that would be to stay as consistent as possible. Basically, not risking much, and with the hopes that others wouldn't be as consistent, and that consistency would push me up. But it doesn't work with this system, because if one rider goes and you are not chasing, you gain a gap together with everyone else in your group. But like that's just a little comfort, if you know that. That's right, White. That is true. But again, that could mean that your race was easier while theirs was harder. So, you know, it's pros and cons in each situation. I agree. Velo system is better than ZRS, I think. I like it better. Then again, I don't think I've had that many issues with ZRS either lately. It's the Zwift carbon something, whatever, I don't know. Which reminds me, I need to change to other frames so I can choose wheels. Because otherwise I will get some base ones and That wouldn't be good. So my strategy is to not lose time. I don't think there is much of a time to be gained here, but you can definitely lose time here. So, especially if there is attack during the last lap, I would like to cover it. My position in the race doesn't really matter. Basically the time difference to winner does. Yeah, you just single-handedly saved my race, Herman. Thank you very much. I think, you know, Dwight, that while you are true, while you are correct, I think that would be very easily exploitable if someone didn't want to play ball. Because everyone would be just sticking together and you would just nuke it on the last lap. No, it's an attack on second lap. I don't mind if it's a single attack. If it's a single attack, I think this course is so fast that it doesn't really matter much. If there's multiple people, that's where it becomes a problem. If they work together. But I really need to save my legs a little bit for tomorrow because I'm racing very early again. Very soon. Unfortunately, I cannot race in this time slot tomorrow because we are going for a roasted goose. Yes. St. Martin's Czech tradition. It's a little bit like US Thanksgiving, but and on Friday it's going to be this time slot again. My bottle is leaking. Yeah, we do. We do. Here it's mostly eating the St. Martin's goose. But today when I was walking my dog, I met some kids with you know, lanterns and stuff, so maybe there is something about that as well. And I think that there is one team that actually done that. The Portuguese team. they were working together on the climbs.
Right on. Right on.
I think this is going to be absolute mess. You know, 5 large groups of people on a tiny course doing 10 laps, lapping themselves consistently. It's going to be insane. All right, let's do it. Hopefully this is not going to be too insane. Thank you, guys. My hands are already sticky from the drink. I think it's a little risky to not follow those, but I hope there aren't such lunatics that they would go right from the start. I think the E-gap makes the races way more strategic. Of course, they are going to be going on each lap. Here's the fifth group. There are guys from D that are trying to do the smart thing and catch up on us. Looks like the guy was dropped now, but smart thing. Okay, they're not sprinting anymore. At least most people are not. So we can probably assume if there are like heart attacks now, they are an actual attacks. Looks like there is already a guy from A lapping us. Is that possible? Or was he dropped? Hey, Terence. So we are soon be lapping some C's, D's, and E's. Let's see if someone jumps in. Because if the categories mix, it's going to be a complete mess. And you won't know when is someone attacking and... There are still guys sprinting. Not that many though. Still a big gap to ace. Okay, there are some guys that went. I assume it was still for the sprint only, but we are actually gaining to the ace in this lap. Those are teammates. It doesn't look like Ace are lapping us anytime soon. Actually, they got a little bit of time back, but this is very strategic race, actually. I love it. It's way less about robots and all about the strategy. Every time I see a guy in front of us, I need to check his color. Which sounds racist, but it's not in this case. It is chill because if we finish in a bunch, it's a good result for everyone compared to other time slots. But obviously there might be someone who will want to bury others. Thank you, Oliver. I don't know if I would be able to work with the domestic as I don't know how it works, but I appreciate it. I think one of the guys actually mixed into the group in front of us. But those are E's. They shouldn't pull him too far. I didn't have my fan on full. tiny little dent into the GC. But I didn't want it to be zero. I think I could have won this if I went all out, but I think that would be counterproductive for tomorrow. The E group was superbly placed in that curve, so I think when I went, it caught some of the guys by surprise because it got lost in that group. I think this was sort of a mandatory result in terms of the time, not in terms of the position. That doesn't matter. But not increasing the time gap was very important, and we got it in the bag, so I'm fairly happy with that. And now, here's hoping that the guys in front of me that had the lead actually lost. Kevin, this was one of the most fun races I remember. It was so strategic. Just watching the other groups, I actually regret that Ace didn't let us, because I would join them. Of course I would join them. Many of us would join them, but that would make it so interesting. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but many of you actually wrote that this was such a chill ride. I don't know if 3.7 in the draft is that chill, but I mean, it wasn't the craziest race ever, of course, but oh my god, there is again something clicking. No! No! Huh. At least I will finally have a reason to get the ride myself, I think. My heart rate was under control, yeah. I know, Franny, but I mean, I'm in this series for the GC, not for the individual races. And if I went full sprint, I probably would have won, because the guy didn't have some sort of crazy sprint. But my legs would be way more tired for tomorrow. And since I'm racing tomorrow over lunch, I won't have big time to rest. And I simply think it's much better to sacrifice the first place for the performance in the coming days. Because remember, we are now racing until Sunday non-stop, every single day. Thank you, Karen. Up until this point, I was actually fairly happy with this bike. I didn't feel the need to upgrade. But lately, there is problem over problem over problem, and none of them are significant, but compounded together, they make for fairly annoying experience, to be honest. And I know I would actually love the ride because my wife has one next to me and I've tried to sit on it. It's really comfortable, really adjustable. So I think I'm gonna go for it eventually. Probably not today, but eventually. I was hoping that cleaning the bottom bracket would stop the clicking, but yeah. I hate when something is clicking or squeaking or something on the bike. Just cannot stand it. I need a smooth ride. Otherwise, I'm upset. It's probably not a big deal, but maybe it is. On this bike? Probably like 10,000 on the road and another 15,000 on Zwift. Something like that. Nope. There's everything is original. Except the cranks. Because once when I was riding outside, a crank with pedal basically split away from my bike and was stuck on my trainer, on my shoe. And I was like 40k from home. So I was pedaling with one leg. Hey Arturo. Let me actually turn off the fan for a bit. Yeah. It's definitely in the bottom bracket. I even can feel it in the legs. When I pedal, I can feel like click, click, click. But it did a great job, this bike. I actually love this. I took it to Alps in Austria. I've got a wonderful time with this bike, but I think it's tired. Arturo, yeah, we did. I gained a little bit of time to the bunch. Thank you, Steven. How did you do on the sprints, actually? These are fairly new pedals, actually. I might try to take them out and re-grease them, but... That's great. That's great, I think. Yeah, it's definitely clicking with each pedal stroke, like click, click, click. But it does it only now at the end. At the beginning of the race, it didn't do that. And after the time trial on Monday, it did also at the end. So I don't know when it gets like warm. Thank you for joining, Kevin. I actually hoped, Steven, you guys would lap us. I really wanted to go, like, basically make a surprise move and join the ace. And then do one lap alone, but... New Colnago. I mean, I've got another bike, I've got my road bike, but I don't want to put that on trainer. I think it's time for the bike that I've been promoting for a few months now. I should put my money where my mouth is, I think. It's very nice when someone like that messages me in game, but I never know how to respond to that. Because I never can find that guy. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I basically went like with 400, maybe 500 meters to go. I wanted to get at least few seconds to those guys, which I did. But it was more like just so the race isn't completely boring. Not that those 2-3 seconds would make any meaningful difference. I attacked on it, or maybe at the top. I'm not sure now, actually. When it was the final incline, when I saw a group of E's in front of us, and I timed the attack in a way that I would mix with those E's, and the attack wasn't that visible, if that makes sense. And I think it worked because there was like just one guy who really followed me. Arturo, it is very normal if you have stronger aerobic capacity than your muscle strength. What you can do in such cases, because I don't think your legs, I don't know what your situation is, what is your max heart rate, what is your age, but I don't think your legs should die at 140, 150 BPM. So what you could do in this case is pedal at higher cadence. basically do the same power but on higher cadence, and which basically, if you do the same power at higher cadence, it stresses your legs muscle less and your aerobic system more. So basically, the spread is more even. Basically, your optimal cadence is when your muscle strength and aerobic strength is balanced at that power level. So basically, ideally, when you are doing FTP test, you want to be done both in terms of muscle power and aerobic power at the same time. Yeah, if I was you, if I was in your shoes, I would try to increase the cadence. Okay, now this is getting like uncomfortably crunchy. I will probably need to take the chain off and clean it properly, clean the whole drivetrain if there is no problem there. But I don't think so. I think it's something around the pedals. I mean, crunchy chain or drivetrain would be the better thing, I think. I would basically either exchange the chain or just clean the drivetrain, clean the chain or lubricate it. But it's a very regular clicking, and I can feel it in my like in my feet. So I think it's worse than crunchy chain, actually. Hopefully it will stay for a little bit still. The worst case scenario, if it completely fail, I can temporarily ride on my wife's ride until I got my own. But thank you, Lucas. Exactly. Exactly. My wife's right. I wouldn't actually want to use her bike because I don't think I would have, I don't know. I don't think I would feel comfortable. First of all, it's in a different position. I would need to look at the screen like this, right? It would probably wreck my neck. And I don't know, I would need to refigure the stream setup and all sorts of stuff like that. But obviously it's better, it would be better than not racing and riding at all. So, but I think the time for New Bikes Day is coming. coming, guys. It's coming. So let's go to 750 calories burned. Tomorrow morning I need to get my tires changed. 7:30. Ugh. So do not want to do that. You discount. It would be so hilarious, dude, if I was like promoting all those sales and special weekends and whatnot, and then bought it myself for full price. Repairable Ohio, you get that for riding streak. So if you ride for, I don't know how many weeks, maybe like 4, I don't know how many. You need to ride for a certain amount of weeks, and then you get the first tier of this like plushie or whatever. Then for second tier you've got like the golden one, and for third week you've got this one, or for the third set or whatever. $30 weeks. Oh, that's a lot, actually. We will find. You just need to do one ride a week, yeah. But you need to do it every week. After some time that you carry the streak, you actually get like an option to skip a week. But thank you very much, Arturo. I really appreciate this. I don't actually think that's a negative, because I think I would say like those huge communities that some of those big YouTubers have are sort of somewhat like, it's like faceless mass. And I mean, over 5,000 people that I have is still a lot, but I can still, when we join the stream, I can still remember most of you guys, right? So when we are talking, I remember actually some of the stuff from what you write, and that wouldn't be possible if I had 100k subscribers. And I actually, you know, I'm not saying I wouldn't want 100, you know, obviously. If I had 100k, I probably could make this a living and make it way better. But this has its benefits, definitely. Yeah, you can have 2 streak savers. Yeah, exactly. But it takes some time as well. It's not immediate. I don't know after how many weeks you get a saver. Let's go to 40k. I actually have Discord created, just basically the raw page, but I didn't make any rooms there yet. But actually, quite a lot of people are asking about me lately, so I might actually do something in that regard. But I would need to set up all the rooms and all that stuff, because I have just the better page. 12 weeks, okay. But it's actually a really well thought, really well thought system. So when you get sick, you don't lose the progress. Okay, maybe over the weekend I will take a look at the Discord. I don't think quick 100k is possible doing just Zwift content. I would need to branch out to general cycling somehow. And I actually quite don't want to do that, because I prefer making content about Zwift, to be honest. But obviously, the ceiling is much higher than I have currently. We can see that on Ryan Condon's account. He has strong 15k and growing steadily. So but I'm not really chasing subscribers. It's nice. It's nice sort of benchmark of progress, but I really want to make videos that people enjoy. And I think that the numbers, channel related numbers, are a byproduct of people enjoying your content, basically. Riding bikes outside is scary. Yeah, that's why I signed up for a laptop. And I actually look forward to making video about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will probably need to get some more batteries for my outdoor camera, because one won't cut it, but glad you like it, Terence. I'm happy to hear that. I like Exert because it is actually fairly scientific, which is also its biggest negative, because it can get really complicated, and sometimes you really cannot understand what Exert is doing. But the best thing you can do is just put your faith in it, and, you know, at least I personally have had great results with Exert. So yeah, I mean, I can ride outside, right? But then again, riding, there's still some difference between riding outside and descending Col de Galibier. Rob Sky, welcome to the membership club. Thank you very much for joining. It is a race, yeah. It is 170 kilometers with 5,600 vertical meters. And it is basically, not basically, it is the exact copy of stage 20 of Tour de France 2026. And it's 1 week earlier than the Pro Peloton will go there. So it's already going to be set up. There's going to be a lot of fans. There's going to be great atmosphere. There's going to be all the organization of Tour de France, but for 16,000 amateurs. It's going to be incredibly hard, but it's going to be beautiful. I actually done some of the climbs that are in this race, mainly called the Galibier. That's insane climb. It's very difficult, but it's like riding on the moon. It's not like it's unimaginable when you are not there. There is already air thinner because it's 2,700 meters above sea level, so basically you can feel your legs burning even if you are going fairly easy. And obviously when you are on top and you see the curved descent, it's actually insane. And there are going to be four climbs like that. There's going to be Col de la Croix de Fer, which is super long climb. It's not that steep. It's about 6% average, but it's like 25 kilometers. Then there is Col du Telegraphe, which is basically just climb in the woods. There is nothing spectacular about it, but it's very hard. Then there is Galibier. That's probably the most beautiful climb you can imagine. And then there is Col de Sarenne, which is again a super beautiful alpine sort of climb. And the finish is on Alpe d'Huez. Hi, South Zwift. Hopefully I pronounce it well. Unfortunately, I'm already finishing the stream, so make sure to join tomorrow again, because I will be streaming tomorrow. Basically, Marmot is the same race, except the finish. Marmot is basically the exact same route, except it finishes on full Alpe d'Huez climb, and this one does Col de Sarenne instead. And I actually prefer that because I've done Alpe before, and Alpe is great. It's obviously this epic, legendary climb. But honestly, for the most part, there's not like something too incredible about it. The top is nice, obviously, when you have the views and stuff. That's beautiful. But the bottom 2/3, maybe bottom half, isn't like special in any way. And Sarenne is prettier. And there is actually finish on Alpe d'Huez. We are doing like the last 3 or 4 switchbacks, which are the most beautiful anyway, so. Tomorrow we are starting 11:30 a.m., so over lunch, because I don't have time in any other slots, unfortunately. In the morning, I go to swap my tires on my car. In the evening, me and my wife are going for the St. Martin's Goose. So, over the lunch it is. Over the lunch it is. And it's actually, I'm actually grateful that there is this option. I can do it at 11:30. Because otherwise I would get dropped from the GC basically. Or I would need to do it super late at night, but that's not really possible. So obviously I expect it won't be feasible to join for many of you. I will be glad if you join me tomorrow if you can. And on Friday we will be racing again in this time slot, 7:30 European, which is going to be way better. It's going to be another time trial on Friday. Tomorrow it's hilly course. No like super long climbs, but it's very hilly, very rolling. So there is possibility for GC action tomorrow. On Friday it's going to be hilly time trial, and on Saturday and Sunday we've got another 2 climbing stages. So enjoy the rest of your day and see you tomorrow. Ciao!